Marketing changes overnight, and if you're not adapting, you're losing ground. But how do you know which marketing trends matter and which are just noise? This episode of Undumb Marketing, we cover the data-driven approach to staying ahead, using industry insights, analytics, and smart strategies that actually work. Plus, we'll reveal the must-have tools to make trend spotting effortless, so you never fall behind in the fast-moving marketing world. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're tackling marketing trends. You know how to keep up with them, all that.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah. You sent over a ton of articles and notes on this. It's a bit much, to be honest.
I know what you mean. It's a fire hose of information out there.
It really is.
Okay.
So let's get right to it. One article said that 70% of companies are going all in on content marketing.
Yeah, it's a crowded space for sure.
It is. So how do we even start to make sense of it all?
Well, the first thing to remember is that we don't need to chase every shiny new object.
Right. Not every trend is going to be right for every business.
Exactly. It's about finding the ones that are relevant to you and your goals.
Okay. So how do we do that? One of the articles you sent talked about monitoring industry leaders and using Nike's Breaking 2 campaign as an example.
Right. They were using storytelling and user-generated content way before it became mainstream.
So if we keep an eye on what the big players are doing, we can get a sense of where things are headed.
Exactly. It's like having a crystal ball, a little preview of the future of marketing.
I like that. But it can't just be about Nike. What about trends that are specific to our listeners' niche?
Absolutely. That's where trend analysis tools come in. They're like secret weapons for staying ahead of the curve.
Oh, like what?
Well, you've got the usual suspects like Google Trends, but there are also some really powerful tools out there like BuzzSumo. It shows you what content is performing best. And then there's trend watching, which focuses on consumer trends globally.
Trend watching, huh? I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to check it out. What about attending those big industry conferences? Does that help?
Absolutely. Things like Content Marketing World. Yeah, they're invaluable. Not just for the presentations, but also for the networking and the conversations that happen in between.
You're right. Sometimes those chance encounters can spark the best ideas.
Totally. But even with all this trend spotting, we still need to turn it into results, right?
Right. That's the bottom line.
And that's where data comes in. One of the sources you sent mentioned that 65% of small businesses struggle to generate website traffic and leads. That's a huge number.
It is. And a big opportunity.
Exactly. This is where data analysis can really make a difference.
Okay. But how? Give me an example.
Look at Spotify Wrapped. Everyone loves it. It's fun, it's engaging, and it's all driven by Spotify analyzing their user data.
Right. And it's brilliant marketing for them.
Exactly. They're not even directly pushing their product. They're just giving people what they want.
Data-driven personalization.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Okay.
I'm sold on data. But with trends changing so fast, is data really enough?
That's a great question. And honestly, data alone isn't enough.
So what else do we need?
One of the sources argued that the most important skill is continuous learning.
Learning. Never stop learning.
Exactly. They even highlighted HubSpot Academy, which offers a ton of free courses.
Wait, even HubSpot, the marketing giants? They still have their people constantly learning.
It just goes to show that learning is a never-ending process, especially in a field like marketing.
Makes sense, I guess. If you snooze, you lose.
And LinkedIn found that 94% of employees are more likely to stay with a company that invests in their learning.
So it's not just about keeping up with trends. It's about becoming a more valuable asset, period.
Exactly. Investing in yourself is the best marketing strategy there is.
That's a great point. But with so much to learn, how do we even approach it? Where do we start?
One of the sources talked about something called agile marketing.
Agile marketing!
Yeah, I know it sounds a little jargony, but it's actually really relevant here.
Okay, I'm listening. What is it exactly?
Basically, it's about working in short bursts and constantly adapting based on what you learn.
So it's about being flexible and responsive to change.
Exactly. The opposite of those rigid, year-long marketing plans that are outdated as soon as you launch them.
Okay, so how does this work in the real world? Can you give me an example?
Sure, even IBM. A company not exactly known for being nimble. They adopted agile marketing and saw great results. Their campaigns became faster, the quality of their content went up, and they were able to adjust to changes in the market much more effectively.
IBM. Wow, that's impressive. But let's talk numbers. Does agile marketing actually improve marketing effectiveness?
Companies using agile marketing report a 25–30% improvement in their marketing effectiveness. That's not just anecdotal evidence. It's a real measurable impact.
25 to 30%.
Okay.
You've convinced me agile marketing is worth exploring. What other strategies can help us stay ahead of the curve?
One source suggested following influential thought leaders. Think of it as getting a cheat sheet for what's working right now.
Oh, I like shortcuts. Tell me more.
Social media is a great place to start, especially Twitter. One example is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's always talking about what's next in the marketing world.
Right, Gary V, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Are there others, experts who are more specific to certain industries?
Absolutely. The key is to find those 2 or 3 thought leaders whose expertise aligns with your niche. They'll provide the most relevant and actionable insights.
Okay, find marketing mentors online. Got it.
Sure.
What else?
Even with all this knowledge, we need the right tools to put it into action.
Tools. Let's talk tools. What are some of the must-haves?
Well, let's start with a classic Google Analytics.
Google Analytics, everyone's heard of it, but is it really that powerful?
It's more than powerful, it's fundamental. It's like having a private investigator for your website. It tells you who's visiting, what they're doing, where they're coming from. It's all about understanding your audience.
And the best part, it's free.
Exactly. The free version is incredibly robust. Now, there's also a paid version called Google Analytics 360, which offers even more advanced features. But honestly, the free version is more than enough for most marketers.
Google Analytics, check.
What else? Another powerhouse tool is HubSpot Marketing Hub. It's like a Swiss Army knife for marketers. Email marketing, social media management, content creation, performance analytics, it's all there.
Sounds like a one-stop shop. What about the price tag?
There's actually a free tier, so you can test it out and see if it's right for you. To unlock the full suite of features, though, you'll need to upgrade to a paid plan. The prices start at $45 a month for the starter package, then it jumps to $800 a month for professional, and then a whopping $3,200 a month for enterprise.
So there's an option for every budget.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of how someone might use HubSpot Marketing Hub?
Let's say you're launching a new product. With HubSpot, you can create targeted email campaigns to announce it. Manage your social media buzz, track how people are interacting with your content, and analyze the entire campaign's performance, all within the same platform.
Pretty impressive. Okay, we've got Google Analytics for understanding our audience and HubSpot Marketing Hub for managing our campaigns. What's the third tool in our marketing trifecta?
We can't forget about Trello.
Trello.
Yeah, it's a visual project management tool that's super handy for implementing those agile marketing strategies we were talking about.
Right, Trello. I love how visual it is. It's great for keeping track of everything.
Exactly. And there's a free version, too. It has all the essentials, so it's perfect for individuals and small teams. If you need more horsepower, you can upgrade to business class for $10 per user per month or enterprise for $17 per user per month, both billed annually.
So like HubSpot, there's a Trello option for everyone. Can you give us a specific use case for how it applies to marketing?
Let's say you're creating a content calendar. With Trello, you can visualize your workflow with different columns for each stage, like idea, draft, editing, published. You then add cards for each piece of content and move them across the board as they progress. It's a great way to stay organized and collaborate with your team.
It really is, and I love how it integrates with other tools like Google Drive and Slack.
Integration is key for streamlining your workflows. But even with all these powerful tools, it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
You're telling me, where do we even start putting all of this into practice?
Well, one crucial thing to remember is that tools are only as good as the person using them. The real power lies in streamlining your efforts and automating repetitive tasks. For example, the Annuitas Group found that companies using marketing automation see a 451% increase in qualified leads.
Hold on, 451%. That's insane.
Hey.
I think we need to dig a bit deeper into this automation thing.
Absolutely. That's a perfect place to pick up in part 2 of this deep dive.
Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back after a short break. Okay, we're back. And that 451% increase in qualified leads from marketing automation, we got to unpack that.
It's a game changer, really. Think about all the stuff you do every day. The repetitive tasks. Sending emails, scheduling social media posts, tracking campaign performance. Automation takes all of that off your plate.
So we can actually focus on, the big picture, the stuff that really moves the needle.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder. Plus, automation means consistency. You're always delivering the right message to the right people at the right time.
Okay, that sounds great. Especially when you're juggling multiple campaigns and trying to personalize everything. But what about the tools? Which ones are actually good at this automation stuff?
Well, HubSpot Marketing Hub, which we talked about earlier, has some really robust automation features. You can set up automated email sequences triggered by specific actions, personalize your messaging based on user behavior, and even nurture leads through the sales funnel without having to do anything manually.
So HubSpot can handle our emails and lead nurturing?
Yeah.
What else can we automate?
Social media scheduling is another big one. Tools like Hootsuite or Buffer let you plan and schedule your social media posts in advance, so you're not constantly logging in and out of different platforms.
That would free up so much time. It's like having a social media assistant working 24/7. What about those chatbots I keep hearing about? Are they worth exploring?
Definitely chatbots can handle those basic customer inquiries, qualify leads, even schedule appointments, all while you're focusing on other tasks.
Wow. It's like having a virtual customer service rep.
Yeah.
That's a game changer for small businesses. Okay, so we've got email automation, social media scheduling, chatbots. What other areas of marketing can we automate?
You can automate content delivery too. Tools like CoSchedule can help you plan and publish your blog posts, articles, social media updates, all on a consistent schedule, so you're always staying top of mind.
Okay, I'm seeing the potential here. Pretty much anything repetitive and time-consuming can be automated. But how do we know which tools are right for us?
It depends on your needs and your budget. Start by figuring out what your biggest pain points are. Are you spending too much time on email marketing? Social media? Once you know what you want to automate, you can research the different tools and choose the ones that fit your requirements.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked a lot about trends, data, and tools. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, becoming a trendsetter. Now that's a bit intimidating, isn't it?
It can be, but it's also exciting. Remember, trends don't just appear out of thin air. They're created by people who are willing to challenge the status quo, experiment with new ideas, take risks.
So instead of just keeping up with everyone else, we should be asking ourselves, what can I bring to the table that's new and different?
Exactly. What's your unique perspective? What are you passionate about? What problems are you trying to solve? Those are the seeds of real innovation.
I love that. So it's about finding that sweet spot where our expertise and our interests intersect with the needs of our audience.
You got it. And don't be afraid to fail. Some of the biggest breakthroughs come from taking risks and learning from your mistakes.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. But where do we even begin with this whole trend-setting thing?
One of the sources talked about the importance of finding your niche. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, focus on a specific area where you can truly excel.
Become the go-to expert in that niche? But how do we know if we've chosen the right niche?
Look for areas where your passions and skills align with a real need in the market. Find that sweet spot where you can add real value.
That makes sense. So find your niche, become an expert, and then what?
Don't be afraid to break the rules. Challenge conventional thinking. Ask why a lot. Sometimes the most innovative ideas come from questioning the things we take for granted.
Be a rebel with a marketing cause. I like it. But breaking the rules can be risky. How do we balance innovation with not completely alienating our audience?
That's where testing comes in. Don't just launch a radical new campaign without validating your ideas first. Run A/B tests, gather feedback from your audience, and refine your approach based on what you learn.
So find that balance between pushing boundaries and staying grounded in data and feedback.
Exactly. And remember, becoming a trendsetter is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to build your reputation, gain credibility, and earn the trust of your audience.
That's a good point. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see results overnight. Consistency and perseverance are key.
Absolutely. And as you go on this journey, surround yourself with like-minded people. Connect with other marketers. Share ideas. Learn from each other's experiences.
That sense of community can be so powerful. Supporting each other, sharing knowledge, celebrating successes together.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be talking about your innovative marketing campaigns as examples of what's working in the industry.
Now, that would be something. Well, that brings us to the end of part 2 of this deep dive.
I can't believe how much we've covered.
I know, right? But we're not done yet. We still have one more part to go.
Stay tuned, everyone, because in part 3, we'll be diving into some specific tactics and strategies you can use to put all of this knowledge into action.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into, all things marketing trends.
Time to put all this knowledge into action.
Right. So one of the sources talked about building a strong online presence. Now, that seems pretty basic, but is there more to it than just having a website and being on social media?
It's not just about being present. It's about creating content that really connects with your audience. Optimizing your website for search engines, building a community around your brand.
So it's about using our online presence to, showcase our expertise, engage with our audience, and ultimately drive conversion.
Exactly. And one tactic that's really gaining traction is personalization.
Personalization.
Right.
We hear that word all the time.
Yeah.
But what does it actually look like in a practical sense?
It could be something as simple as using your email subscribers' names or sending them recommendations based on their past purchases. Or it could be more sophisticated, like using dynamic content that changes based on their browsing history or location.
So it's all about tailoring the message to the individual,
Oh.
making them feel like you're speaking directly to them.
Right. And the technology is making it easier than ever. Marketing automation tools can really help you with segmenting your audience, personalizing your messaging, and even tracking the results of your campaigns.
Those tools again. Okay. So we've got personalization. What other tactics should we be thinking about?
One source really emphasized video marketing.
Video makes sense. It's
Yeah.
so engaging. But how can we use it creatively? For marketing purposes.
Think outside the box. Go beyond traditional ads. Create behind-the-scenes videos that show the human side of your brand. Product demos that highlight features and benefits. Live streams where you can interact with your audience in real time.
I like that, showcasing the human side of your brand. It's all about authenticity these days.
Exactly. People want to connect with real people, not faceless corporations. And video is a great way to do that.
Video marketing, added to the list. What else?
Influencer marketing is another one that's really taking off.
Partnering with influencers,
Right.
right? That could be a bit tricky though, can't it? You have to find the right ones.
Absolutely. It's not just about finding someone with a huge following. It's about finding someone who's authentic, trustworthy, and whose values align with your brand.
So do your research, find the right influencers, build real relationships with them.
Exactly. Influencer marketing isn't a one-time transaction. It's about building long-term partnerships that are mutually beneficial.
Makes sense. Any other tactics we should be exploring?
One source talked about repurposing content.
Repurposing content. What's that?
It means taking your existing content, like your blog posts, videos, infographics, and transforming them into different formats for different platforms.
So we could take a blog post and turn it into a series of social media posts, an infographic, a video.
Exactly. You're maximizing the reach and impact of your content without having to start from scratch every time.
That's smart. It saves time and resources. Okay, so we've got a pretty solid list of tactics here, but how do we actually measure our success?
Data analysis comes into play again. You need to track your key metrics: website traffic, social media engagement, email, open rates, conversion rates.
And use those insights to make adjustments as we go.
Exactly. It's all about continuous improvement learning, iterating, optimizing.
I think I'm finally starting to get it. It's not just about following the latest trends. It's about understanding the bigger picture, applying the principles strategically, and always being willing to adapt.
That's it. And as you continue on your marketing journey, stay curious.
Yeah,
Be creative. Don't be afraid to experiment.
great advice. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from identifying trends to using data to implementing specific tactics. Any final thoughts for our listener?
Remember that marketing at its core is about connecting with people. Focus on building those genuine relationships. Provide value. Make a positive impact.
I love that. It's not just about selling. It's about making a difference. Well, I think that's a wrap on our deep dive into keeping up with marketing trends. I feel energized.
Me too. It's been a great conversation.
And a huge thank you to our listener for joining us.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
And remember, the world of marketing never stands still. So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries.
Until next time, happy marketing.
That's a wrap for this episode of Undumb Marketing. If you liked what you heard, don't stop here. Check out our other episodes for more straight takes on today's hottest marketing topics. New episodes dropping weekly, so hit follow and stay ahead of the game. Got a question or topic you want us to tackle? Find us online and let's keep the conversation going. See you next time.